Before they became legends, the samurai were survivors. The sword didn't make them powerful. Chaos did. The samurai didn't just fight battles, they shaped the destiny of a nation with every sword stroke and vow of loyalty. Japan's Imperial Court was crumbling. Local lords needed protection, so they turned to warriors who would rise to become the most feared class in Japanese history, the samurai. In the 9th century, the Imperial Court in Kyoto was rich in poetry and ceremony, but its power barely reached beyond the capital. In the provinces, landowners faced a harsh reality: lawlessness, bandits, and rival clans. While the court thrived in art and culture, it struggled to enforce laws or defend distant lands. Powerful families controlled vast estates and often ignored imperial orders, leading to constant local conflicts and insecurity. To survive, landowners turned to private protectors, skilled fighters loyal not to the emperor, but to their master. These warriors were the first samurai, a word that means to serve, and their service was just the beginning. Even in these early days, samurai lived by strict codes of loyalty, honor, and discipline, values that would later become the foundation of Bushido, the warrior's way. Spiritual beliefs from Buddhism and Shinto shaped these values, teaching acceptance of death and the importance of purity in both mind and action. Samurai were masters of the bow and horseback riding before the sword became their signature weapon. Their training emphasized speed, precision, and calm under pressure, vital skills for protecting their lord's lands and navigating shifting alliances. But samurai were not just warriors. They trained daily, mastered poetry and calligraphy, and upheld rituals blending martial skill with cultured refinement. Samurai households often balanced strict discipline with family loyalty. Women in samurai families trained in self-defense, managed estates, and upheld the family's honor. By the late 1100s, two powerful clans, the Taira and the Minamoto, fought for control of Japan. Their brutal civil war, known as the Genpei War, tore the country apart. The war was more than just a battle for territory. It was a clash fueled by deep rivalries and ambitions. Battles like Dan-no-ura, a decisive naval encounter, sealed the fate of the Taira clan and cemented the Minamoto's dominance. For 5 years, the war raged. When the dust settled in 1185, it was the Minamoto who claimed victory. Their leader, Minamoto no Yoritomo, didn't just win the war, he rewrote Japan's future. In 1192, Yoritomo became Japan's first shogun, a military ruler with more power than the emperor himself. From his base in Kamakura, he established the first shogunate, a government ruled by warriors. The shogunate was a unique military government where the shogun held real political power, while the emperor remained a spiritual and cultural figurehead. This system created a new social order with samurai at its core, overseeing land management, justice, and military affairs. The emperor remained a figurehead, but real authority now belonged to the samurai. They had become Japan's ruling class. Above the samurai stood the shogun and daimyo, powerful lords who controlled vast lands. Below them were peasants, artisans, and merchants, all bound by a rigid social hierarchy. No longer just mercenaries, samurai became landowners, governors, and law enforcers. They pledged loyalty to their daimyo, or lord, in exchange for land and status. Everything rested on honor and obedience. A samurai's word was binding, and their blade final. The rise of the samurai changed Japan forever. For the next 600 years, they would rule, not just through force, but through fear, discipline, and an unshakable code. But what guided the samurai wasn't just power, it was philosophy. In the coming episodes, we'll explore the samurai's strict code, legendary battles, and the enduring legacy that shapes Japan even today. Join us in part 2 as we explore Bushido, the soul of the samurai. If you enjoyed learning about the rise of the samurai, make sure to hit like, subscribe, so you don't miss the next episode. Thanks for watching. See you in part 2.